Assalamualaikum and good day everyone. So this is lecture 4 for topic 8 random variable. We continue to focus on 8.3 continuous random variable. Okay, so the learning outcome for this lesson, we're only going to focus on solving the probability from a probability density function. So we are trying to solve the probability. Earlier, we learned how to determine whether the random variable is a probability density function or not, and to find the expected value and the variance. Okay, now to solve the probability. So the example here, example 1, given the continuous random variable, the keyword here is continuous random variable x has the following probability density function. So we have fx equal to kx squared over 2 for x from -4 to 4, and k is a constant. So we have this PDF, this function defined from -4 up to 4 only. Okay, now we want to show that k is equal to 3 over 64. Okay, now how to solve this question to show that k is equal to 3 over 64. And then after that, hence find the probability. So we have to find the probability of x more than or equal to 2, probability of x less than 3, probability of x in between -2 and 1, and then probability of x from 0 to 3, 3 is excluded, and probability of x from -1 to 1, and probability of x equal to 2. Now let's do this together. So to show that probability is a probability density function, we use the properties of probability density function, which is the total probability is equal to 1. So we need to integrate from -infinity to infinity of the function fx, the probability density function. Now because we have the function of 0 before -4, for x less than -4, and then 0 function for x more than 4, we just have to integrate from -4 up to 4 for the function of kx squared over 2 respect to x, and then equate with 1. Now integrate x squared over 2. K is a constant, we can take out k, so integrate x squared over 2, we get x cubed over 3. And then these two also we can factorize out. So the coefficient we have outside of the function is k over 2. For x cubed over 3, and then after that we need to substitute all the values 4 and -4 to find the value. So substitute the value we have. We also can factorize out these 3 because it's a constant, right? So we left with k over 2 multiplied by 3 is 6. In the bracket we have only x cubed from -4 to 4 equal to 1. So substitute 4 and -4, we get 4 cubed minus -4 cubed. So we have 64k over 3 equal to 1. So actually 4 cubed is equal to 16. And then this one is -16. So -16 minus, we get +16. So 16 plus 16, is it true? Oh, sorry. No, 4 cubed is not 16, it's 64, right? Yes, it's a 64. 64 minus -64, it will be 64 plus 64. So 2 times of 64 divided by 6. So the denominator will remain by 3 equal to 1. So k is equal to 3 over 64. So we show already what is the value of k. Now to solve the probability. For question A, so we want to find the probability for x more than or equal to 2. So to find, it doesn't matter whether we have equal sign or no equal sign. We just have to start integrating from that value. So if x is more than or equal to 2, means that we have to integrate from 2 up to infinity. Okay, but because from 2, we have transit changing of function at 4 here. So means that we have to integrate from 2 to 4 and then continue to from 4 to infinity. Okay, so we just have to integrate from 2 to 4 and then 4 to infinity. But because we have a function 0 from 4 to infinity, means that we have to integrate from 2 to 4 only. So now we have to integrate the function fx. So what is function fx? We found out already k is equal to 3 over 64, right? So multiply 64 multiplied with 3, we have 3x squared over 128. So now we can factorize out the coefficient first, 3 over 128. So what remains is x squared. So integrate x squared, we get x cubed over 3. And then this constant 3 at the denominator also we can factorize out, and then it will be cancel out by the 3 at the top. So we have 1 over 1 to 8 multiplied by x cubed from 2 to 4. So substitute the value 4 and 2 into the function. The x cubed we have here, we have 4 cubed minus 2 cubed. 64 minus 8, we get 50. 50 what? 56. 56 over 1 to 8, we have the answer 7 over 16. So this is the probability for x more than or equal to 2. What about B? So for B, we want to find the probability for x less than 3. So where is 3? So 3 is in between negative 4 and 4. So to find the probability means that we want to find from negative infinity up to 3. Okay, but because we have transit at negative 4 here, we have changing of function at negative 4. Is that from negative infinity up to negative 4, we need to use function 0. So we don't have any integration there because integration of 0 will be 0. So we need to start from negative 4 up to 3. So integrate from negative 4 to 3 of a function 3x squared over 1 to 8 respect to x. Okay, now factorize out the constant 3 over 1 to 8. So integrate x squared, we get x cubed over 3. And then you can simplify this 3, cancel out. So we have only 1 over 1 to 8 multiplied by x cubed from negative 4 to 3. So substitute these two values, 3, the upper limit. So 3 cubed minus negative 4 cubed. So what do we have here? Negative 4 cubed is equal to negative 64, right? And then 3 cubed is equal to 3 is 27. So 27 minus negative 64 is 27 plus with 64. So 64, we get the answer equal to 91. So 91 over 1 to 8 simplified, we get the answer 91 over 1 to 8. You cannot simplify. If you use your calculator, we have the answer 91 over 1 to 8. If you want to find the value in the decimal points, we need to put the answer in 4 decimal points. So 91 over 1 to 8, what do you get? 91 over 1 to 8 is equal to 0.7109. Okay, so don't forget to put the answer in 4 decimal places. Okay, for question C, we want to find the probability from negative 2 to 1 exclusively. So the same thing we need to do earlier, we need to integrate from that value from negative 2 up to 1. Doesn't matter whether we have equal sign or not. Okay, so integrate from negative 2 to 1, we don't have any change of function. So directly integrate for that interval. What function in that interval? So it is in between negative 4 and 4, which is the function is 3x squared over 1 to 8. So you need to integrate from negative 2 to 1 of the function 3x squared over 1 to 8 respect to x. So the same step we use, we factorize out the constant, we get x cubed, and then these 3 can be cancelled out. So 1 over 1 to 8 multiplied by x cubed from negative 2 to 1. So substitute the value of 1 and substitute the value of negative 2. So we have 1 cubed minus negative 2 cubed. So we have 1 plus negative 2 cubed is negative 8. So 1 minus negative 8 is 1 plus 8, which is 9 over 1 to 8. So the answer is equal to 9 over 1 to 8. Okay? Now, for question D. So we want to find the probability for x in between 0 to 3. 0 included here. So where is 0 and 3? So on the number line, 0 and 3 is in between negative 4 to 4. So directly we use the function 3x squared over 1 to 8 and integrate from 0 to 3. So integrate, we have x cubed and then multiply by 1 over 1 to 8 from 0 to 3. So 1 over 1 to 8 multiplied by 3 cubed minus 0 cubed, which is equal to 27 over 1 to 8. Okay, simple, right? And then for question E, we want to find the probability for x from negative 1 to 1. So where is negative 1 to 1? So it's in between negative 4 to 4. So you can just directly integrate from negative 1 to 1 by using the function 3x squared over 1 to 8. Okay, because it's in between negative 4 to 4 where the function is 3x squared over 1 to 8. So integrate from negative 1 to 1 of 3x squared over 1 to 8 respect to x. So directly we get 1 over 128 multiplied by x cubed from negative 1 to 1. So after we substitute the value, we have 2 over 128, which is equal to 1 over 64. Okay, why? Because 1 cubed minus negative 1. So 1 minus negative 1 is 1 plus 1, which is equal to 2. So 2 over 128 equal to 1 over 64. And last question F, we want to find probability for x equal to 2. Means that 2 is in between negative 4, right? So negative 4 and 4, right? So we integrate from 2 to 2. So remember the properties of integration. If we want to integrate from A to A, the answer will be 0. So we don't have probability there. That's why the probability at a certain point for the continuous random variable is equal to 0. Okay, so that's for the example 1. So let's move on to example 2. So x is a continuous random variable with a probability density function. So now we have two defined function from 0 to 1, which is function negative x to 1, x plus 1. And then for the function from 1 to 2, we have a function of x minus 1. Okay, we want to find the probability from 1 to 2 for A, and then for B, we want to find the probability for x less than 1.5. And then for C, we need to find the probability for x in between 1 over 4 to 5 over 4. And lastly, to find the expected value. Okay, now, because we have two intervals defined by a function, by two different functions, what we need to do is, it is better if you do the real number line and then classify which interval defined by that certain function. Okay, so let's see how do we create the number line. Okay, so it's given that from 0 to 1, we have a function of negative x plus 1, right? And then from 1 to 2, we have a function of x minus 1. So other than that, from negative infinity up to 0, the function is 0. And then from 2 to infinity, we have a function 0 also. So only two intervals has a specific function. Okay, now to find the probability from 1 to 2. So where is 1 and 2? So 1 and 2 is in the interval, on the interval. So it's defined from 0, 1 to 2, where the function defined on this interval is x minus 1. So what we need to do is directly integrate from 1 to 2 with that certain function x minus 1 respect to x. Okay, so there is no change of function here. So directly integrate x minus 1, we get x squared over 2 minus x from 1 to 2, and then substitute the upper limit minus the lower limit. We have 4 squared over 2 squared over 2 minus 2, and then minus with 1 squared over 2 minus 1. So what do we get as the answer? This one is 2, 2 minus 2 is 0. This one is 1 over 2 minus 1 is negative 1 over 2. So minus 0 minus negative 1 over 2 is 1 over 2. So the probability is equal to 1 over 2 or equal to 0.5. For question B, what about question B? So we want to find the probability for x less than 1.5. So we have interval 0 to 1 and 1 to 2. So for less than 1.5, if we draw on the number line, it's from negative infinity up to 1.5, right? So because we have a transit, where is the transit? The change of function at 0 and 1 means that we have to separate the integration into 2 or 3 parts. The first part should be from negative infinity up to 0, right? But because the function is 0, so we can just ignore this part. But the second part is from 0 to 1. So we need to integrate from 0 to 1 with the function of negative x plus 1. And then we continue with the next function x minus 1, which is integrate from 1 to 1.5. So that's why we need to do the number line to make sure we integrate the correct function at the correct interval. So integrate these two functions. For the negative x plus 1, we get negative x squared plus x from 0 to 1. And then for x minus 1, we integrate it, we get x squared over 2, and then minus with x from 1 to 1.5. So calculate the value separately. So we get negative 1 squared over 2 plus 1 minus with 0. Because we substitute 0, we get 0 lah. And then the second one is substitute 1.5. It will be 1.5 squared over 2 minus 1.5. And then minus with, when we substitute 1. So it will be 1 squared over 2 minus 1. So calculate all this value, we get negative 1 over 2 plus 1 is 1 over 2. Here is 1 over 2. And then here 1.5 squared over 2 minus 1.5. And then minus 1 over 1 squared over 2 minus 1. We get the answer here is equal to, what is it? So we get 1 over 8. Okay, use your calculator to calculate this value. 1.5 squared is 9 over 4 divided by 2 minus 1.5. Here we get negative 3 over 8. And then here 1 over 2 minus 1. We get negative 1 over 2. So add up 1 over 2. 1 over 2 minus 3 over 8. We get 1 over 8. And then 1 over 2 minus answer. Here we get 3 over 8 as the result. Okay. So please calculate it thoroughly. Three over 8. Four squared. 1 over 4 square is equal to 1 over 16 over 2. It is equivalent to what? Okay, so 1 over 4 square is 1 over 16. And then divide by 2. So we get multiply by 1 over 2, right? So we get 1 over 32 plus 1 over 4. Negative 1 over 32 plus 1 over 4 here. So negative 1 over 32 plus 1 over 4 is equivalent to 7 over 32. 5 over 4 square. Square we get 5 over 4 square, we get 25 over 16 over 2 will be over 32 minus 5 over 4. So 25 over 32 minus 5 over 4, we get negative 15 over 32 here. Then for this one, 1 over 2 minus 1 will be 1 over 2 minus 1, right? So 1 over 2 minus 1 is equal to negative 1 over 2. So negative 15 over 32 plus with 1 over 2 is equal to, this part will be equal to 1 over 32. And then the first part here we get 1 over 2 minus 7 over 32. We get 9 over 32. So 9 over 32 plus with 1 over 32 is equal to 10 over 32, which is equal to 5 over 8. Okay, so because we deal with fraction, so please calculate one by one. Or if you want to use the 0.25 and 1.25 also can. Okay, so this is for question C. For question D, we need to find the expected value. So for expected value, because we have two defined function from 0 to 1, we use function negative x plus 1. From 1 to 2, we use function x minus 1. So we need to find each of this part. From 0 to 1, we integrate negative x plus 1, multiply x. So x multiplied by negative x plus 1 and then expand here. And then from 1 to 2, we need to use function x minus 1. So the expected value integrate from 1 to 2 of x multiplied by x minus 1. Okay, so expand. What do we get after the expansion? We get integrate from 0 to 1 of negative x squared plus x respect. And then plus with integrate of, and then plus with the integrate of from 1 to 2 of x squared minus x respect to x. Okay, so do the integration. Negative x squared will be negative x cubed over 3. X will be x squared over 2. And then for x squared will be x cubed over 3. And x will be x squared over 2. So positive and negative, don't forget the sign. Don't change the sign. Follow through. Okay, so substitute the value 1 and 0. You get negative 1 plus 1 over 2. Negative 1 over 3 plus 1 over 2, and then minus with 0. And for the second part will be 2 cubed over 3 minus 2 squared over 2. And then minus with 1 cubed over 3 minus 1 squared over 2. So let me get the answer for each of this part. So 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3. What do we get? 1 over 2 minus 1 over 3 is 1 over 6. So this part is 1 over 6. And then the next one is 2 cubed, which is 8 over 3 minus 4 over 2. Right? So we get 2 over 3. 2 over 3. And then the next part, 1 cubed over 3 minus 1 over 2 is equivalent to negative 1 over 6. So 2 over 3 minus negative 1 over 6 will be plus. 2 over 3 plus 1 over 6 is equal to 5 over 6. So 5 over 6 plus with 1 over 6, we get 1. Okay, so the final answer is 1. Okay, so we have the expected value for this continuous random variable is equal to 1. Okay, so that's all for lecture 4. So the next lecture we are going to continue with the cumulative distribution function. So please be prepared. Okay, so thank you class, and you guys can continue with tutorial 4. Okay, bye. Assalamualaikum.